Okay, there's.
I don't work for them. I just bring my art up there and don't get paid.
All right. Well, I'm a Burning Man participant too. I'm with Caleb, and Caleb has organized an impromptu labor protest. Can you tell us what it's about, Caleb?
Well, over the years, Burning Man has increased the ticket prices, increased the people coming, and they've decreased the money they're paying their workers. And particularly the Playa Restoration crew has had their pay cut in half in the last 4 years. This year, they're promoting a green theme, which is good, and I really like that. But they seem to feel that it's okay to exploit the workers like they're some kind of resource that's just there to take and not help out. They don't help the workers that are injured quite often, and they just try to get them to work for the most by giving them the least, and then they just discard them.
So, one of the issues in the Indie Media Post where I found out about this protest today mentioned medical care. And have people that work for Burning Man been injured and not been taken care of, or had to rely on their own insurance coverage?
Well, my friend Wick back in 2000, I believe it was 2002 or 2003, was injured on the job, and he had to be flown out by a helicopter, and the Burning Man company did not help him. I don't know. He might have gone and filed some legal things to get some help, but at first they weren't going to help him. That's one incident I know of. Other incidents involve them saying we're contractors when we were actually employees so that they wouldn't help us. They've changed that in the past, but still people that were injured prior to 2003 have huge medical bills because they say, well, you're a contractor, it's your fault. And it also caused a lot of tax problems. And some people have gone back and filed a SS-8 form with the IRS, which determines that we were employees and they were not rightfully paying us how they should have as our employer. And then, for instance, Matthew Ebert, who was the ranch manager, did that, and they had to pay him somewhere in the neighborhood of $10,000 in his back taxes for their practices, which were not legal.
There's only 3 people out here so far, Caleb, but are there more people that you think would like to show up here? And have you spoken to any of them?
Yes, I have. This is breaking the ice today. This is February. This will go on until the event starts, or and after, until they address their worker rights. If they're going to promote a green theme, they're going to have to take care of their workers. And we had a lot of people that wanted to come, but they got scared because some people want grants from Burning Man. Other people still work for Burning Man, and if they find out who you are, they won't hire you. This has happened a number of times to different people that posted on internal lists within the Burning Man organization that we should have worker rights and things like medical care when we're injured on the job, and just to be treated like human beings sometimes.
So if you guys did form or join a union, would it be something like Industrial Workers of the World or SEIU?
What we've been discussing is Burning Man's more like a theater event, is like a stagehand union for a temp job, which is what we got in 2003, equivalent pay, about $75 a day for the cleanup crew, but they cut that down to $40 or $45 a day in the last 4 years. I mean, how many people have had their pay cut almost in half in the last 4 years? I don't know. It's not cool.
And do you intend to bring this protest out on the playa for the upcoming Green Man, Burning Man Festival at the end of August?
It could go as far as we need to take it because this company is under a lot of scrutiny right now. They don't even own the trademark that they're using, so there's a lot of issues that will continue to be brought up, and it could happen on the playa as well. But right now we'll be focusing on their offices, perhaps even every month showing up. Today we're here because it's a regional meeting, and we wanted the people that are part of the Burning Man franchise to know that they need to take care of their workers better than their home office does.
Now, this notice of this protest was posted on tribe.net, where the largest tribe on tribe.net is the Burning Man tribe. And already there's been some critical response to your protest here. People are saying things like, well, if you don't really like working for the Burning Man organization, you don't love it, you should just leave, rather than agitate like this. Do you have any words for those type of people?
Well, I did leave. I was a full-time employee for Burning Man in 2003. I worked all year through, and I quit, but I've worked as a volunteer since then, on and off. And I think that's not reasonable to say that when a company is involved in illegal labor practices and trying to promote themselves as a green company, if I walk away from this, I'm a hypocrite. I mean, my friends work for this company, and I would like them to be taken care of because we have certain federal and state laws about how you handle labor and labor issues, and this company has taken guerrilla art and become a real corporation and then tried to basically take advantage of people using a guerrilla art theme like, oh, we're underground, but they're not underground. They're a multi-million-dollar corporation that has franchises, and they're not taking care of their workers. They're actually kind of worse than Walmart at this point.
Have you been able to bring these concerns to the founder, Larry Harvey, or Marianne, any of the people high up in the org?
I have specifically requested to talk to Larry Harvey about a number of things over the past few months, and he basically won't speak to me. And in fact, I got a cease and desist letter from one of the board members that I should never contact them ever about any problems.
So does that mean showing up here today? That do you have a restraining order, or just?
No, they just politely asked me not to contact them, but I am forced to go public now and deal with things in the media because I had hoped that they would be good neighbors and want to deal with their workers, but they don't.
So, Caleb, where can people go if they want to find out more details about this? Do you have a blog or someplace where you post discussion around organizing and Burning Man?
I will continue to post things to indie media. This is just developing this movement. As I said, it's just February, and we're hoping this will snowball more towards the event time.
Okay, so for those of you that don't know, Caleb's posting can be found on indybay.org, INDYBAY.org. Okay, thanks, Caleb.
No problem. Thank you. You want to talk to some of these other people?
Sure. What would you like to tell the Burning Man organization?
They need to treat their workers better. I was not given proper safety materials for the cleanup job that I did in Playa Restoration. There was not proper sanitary. There were no hand washing stations, no hand sanitizer by the worker toilets before the event. They've cut the pay. The reason more people aren't here is because people are afraid. They want to keep their jobs. They rely on Burning Man as seasonal labor, and the LLC does not respect their workers, and people are very afraid. They don't want to say anything. I had 6 or 7 people say to me, I want to go, but I'm scared about my job, because the organization has a history of anyone who even complains not inviting them back to work. And it's one thing if you volunteer for a year, but if you've been working there for 6 years, you rely on it, and it's part of your life. And now as the event grows, there's more people that'll volunteer, and they can capitalize on the free labor, but they don't take care of people. They buy people off. People that are injured, they just throw some money at them, but it does nothing towards their long-term care, nothing to help them whatsoever. So I feel like, they really do need to take better care of their workers and act like the major corporation that they are. This isn't an underground event anymore. They're making a lot of money, and they need to take care of the people that make the event. And to all the people on tribe.net and everybody who says don't complain about it and Burning Man is great, well, I doubt they were out there or have worked for them, because I don't know if the LLC knows this, but there's a lot of management in Burning Man, and upper management even, not the LLC, who in private very much agree with the things that we're saying and very much agree with what they're doing, but they're scared to say anything because the LLC acts like some kind of feudal, they feel like they're feudal lords and this is their serfdom, but this is America. This isn't, the medieval times, and they're not kings, and they're just people that run a company, and there are certain standards in the U.S. that they need to comply to.
Well, it would seem that an organization such as Burning Man that prides itself on its non-corporate, a way of acting in the world would be opposed to labor unions or workers organizing.
It would seem that they would be or wouldn't be.
It seems like they would be because, they espouse an anti-consumerism, anti-corporate message, and organizing and solidarity seem to be in harmony with the basic message they're putting out about sharing on the playa and helping each other. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it's really sad that we even have to be here because you would think that they would walk their talk and, put their money where their mouth is, but the reality of it is they don't. And like I said, there's a lot of people who aren't here that really, really agree with it, that are management within Burning Man, but they don't want to come because they're scared to lose their job.
Yeah, about how many workers are we talking about?
About how many workers are entirely?
Yeah, that are in harmony with your message here today.
Oh, I wouldn't know because I haven't talked to all the workers, but I'd say about 20 people that I've spoken to are very much in support of this but don't want to lose their jobs.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm with Teague McCormick. He's one of the protesters here in front of the Burning Man headquarters, and he's also a creator of art. And Teague, do you have an artist perspective on what's going on here with the worker protest?
Well, in one way I do. One year I volunteered for Burning Man and was injured there, and it turned into a big rigmarole financially for me, and there was no assistance from Burning Man. Now I'm a contractor by trade, and I'm required to have workman's comp for people, including volunteers, are supposed to have workman's comp according to federal law, and the fact is they're breaking the law. It's a law. They're supposed to have workman's comp for volunteers. Now, I never plan on working for Burning Man again, but I feel that they should do the right thing. Whether or not it has to, it lines their pockets or not doesn't matter. It's the right thing.
Now,
as an artist, you may remember 2 years ago I was one of the people who brought the mousetrap to Burning Man with absolutely no assistance from the organization. And yet, the first show I turned around and there's Larry Harvey and Lady B standing next to me doing this, like, we just brought you this, and they didn't do anything. We brought it.
so
Now we got a great deal of help from DPW and the Rangers, and all the people there were very generous in helping us. But the organization itself acted like we weren't even there.
Teague, is this about money or something else?
It has nothing to do with about money because I didn't want compensation. It's a gift that I bring to Burning Man. But in the organization's elitism, by picking only certain artists to be funded and the same artists over and over again, and I have nothing against these artists, but the idea of Burning Man apparently, I thought, was to have an open venue where there was no elitism in art. And I see that they're doing just the opposite. It has turned into an elitist group of people, and for that reason it makes me uncomfortable, and that's why I'm here.
All right, thanks, Teague.
Larry Harvey, you're not above the law.
Take care of your workers, not your drug habits.
Workers are not a resource to be exploited.
Is that why they're next door to Snowdrift?
So I just want to mention one blatantly illegal practice that they do. When you sign up to work for Burning Man, you have to sign, first of all, a non-disclosure agreement that says that you won't say or write anything about the event or its operations, that you won't speak about it publicly or they can sue you. And they also make you sign a death waiver, which I think is pretty illegal, saying if you're injured or even killed while working for Burning Man, even if it's Burning Man's fault, that Burning Man is not liable and you will not sue them.
I'm curious, what do you think motivates them to put out those kind of restrictions?
Money.
Well, I can
Fear.
tell you, the death waiver came about after a death of a worker in August of 2001. I believe his name is Craig Nielsen. He was killed in a DPW operation moving to the playa, and I believe his family sued the company and they had to pay them some money. And this ended up with the next year they made this waiver, and I think it was trying to scare workers from suing if they experience something illegal. And so they made everybody, after the, one worker's family sued after there's a wrongful death suit.
No more protesting?
No more
Hey, Tom.
protesting.
Hey, what's happening? Hi, Cowboy Angel. Yeah, man, how you doing? Yeah, great.
Unfortunately, this is America, and I have a right to protest.
I have a right not to protest.
Here's some counter-protesters.
Hear what we have to say?
Sure. Yeah, sure.
No more protesting?
No more protesting.
We're an art, not artists.
No more protesting.
Hi, what's your name?
Mr. Protester.
And are you aware of the issues that these folks are agitating for today?
Absolutely unaware. No more protesting.
Do you want to tell this guy?
What?
He's unaware of what you're protesting for.
Well, that's probably because they paid him to come down here. He just came out of the Burning Man office. These people are obviously here to try to disrupt a legitimate protest. You don't even get a free ticket out of it. These are serious issues. These are people's lives that are getting hurt. And if you want to mock that, that's fine. That's what Larry Harvey's doing, apparently.
I worked 4 years on
Don't touch me. Do not touch me.
You know what?
Are you afraid of a hug?
If you touch me,
Are you
I will-
afraid of a hug?
do not
He
touch me.
doesn't want you to hug him.
No, I'm not going to.
This is
That's
ridiculous.
his face.
Well, this
Don't
is
burn your
ridiculous.
workers.
This is ridiculous.
You don't need to send your clowns out.
Caleb, maybe this is a good time to talk about some of the issues while these folks are out here.
Well, a large issue is the green theme, because if you're going to promote conservation and environmental resources, why are you guys, exploiting your workers?
And what workers
Don't
are...
touch me. Do not touch me. Do not touch me.
He's afraid of affection.
I don't want any beads. I don't want anything to do with you people.
If you
Well,
wanted
you're out
nothing
here.
to do with us, you wouldn't be out
Yeah.
here.
No kidding.
If you want to help us, you could restore the pay of the DPW cleanup crew to what it was 4 years ago. Why was our pay cut in half?
Workers
I have
versus
no idea.
what happens to the
Why are you out here
I'm
at
out
the
here to
regionals
raise
conference, which has nothing
because
to do with you?
the Burning Man company is a multi-million-dollar corporation that has franchises, and we would like the franchises to know that they should not follow the practices of their corporation that
I
exploits
assure
workers.
you, the local regional doesn't exploit anybody. None
Well,
of us
that's
have
good.
ever
We want to
gotten a penny.
continue to have it
They've
that way.
never raised a penny, never spent a penny, except out
That's
of our own
great.
pockets.
Well, that's
Okay.
great. But
We're
we want to
pure
raise
volunteer.
awareness because we've had friends die, we've had friends injured, we've had our pay cut, and we think it's a legitimate thing to stand out here and raise awareness about this
Where is
while
the
Larry
we?
Harvey is tooting his
Where
horn
is
of
the
being a
we?
green team.
There's you and there's people whose heads are covered.
Three people's
so
a conspiracy.
Nobody will ever pay attention
This
to the
is
words
February.
of people who don't attach themselves to their own words. But
I'm
they've
here.
got their heads covered.
They told me they were covered like that because they're afraid of losing their jobs, and they say there's at least 20 people.
Put it on the line like everybody else
Worked,
does.
for Burning Man
You
since
know?
2000. I was a full-time worker. I quit in 2003.
We're here at an ongoing series of documentaries.
There's a guy filming me.
Who are simultaneously documenting us. We're basically getting the absolute inversion of the media phenomenon by only documenting documentarians who are covering counter-protests to protests to the Burning Man organization.
Are you aware, sir, of what the protesters are agitating for?
I was going to ask if you have any idea what the counter-protesters are agitating for.
Well,
We have to ask only our own opinions, of course, because we're the important people here, the press. The actual protest or counter-protest is lost in the cultural background of the press itself and what it makes of protests and counter-protests.
but you're unaware of the issues that these folks are agitating here for workers that work for Burning Man, such as the non-compensation for certain injuries and reduction in pay and dismissal upon complaining about injuries and various other worker abuses.
Your lens is actually reflecting my lens at this very moment. I can actually see myself in your video camera, which is exactly what's the deal. That's really cool.
Well, this gentleman here is part of a team of people that just streamed out of the Burning Man office. I'm not quite sure why they're here. They're not part of the worker protest, but I think they're trying to co-opt some of what's happening here.
There, all you like. All love to you.
Right. Well, I'm glad you say you take care of your regionals.
This hug for you, buddy.
You know how that was funded?
Hey.
You know how that was funded?
We love you.
Great. Well, thank you.
Want it or not.
Well, we'll be out here raising awareness.
Take better care of your workers.
Wonderful support.
What's your other sign say? What does your other sign say?
Like we didn't exist until that moment that they took. What?
Cool. I don't see the connection.
So, Caleb, what is the current wage for Burning Man workers?
Well, it varies. Usually, people that have sex with the board members make between $100 and $150 a day. I was actually given the pay scale back in 2003, and that's pretty funny. But the actual cleanup workers all made $75 a day in 2003, and they've consistently lowered the pay. So this year it's $45 a day for a pretty long day. So
More than 8 hours?
it could be. It's walking around the entire city and picking up the garbage on the playa all day long in the sun.
All right. What do you make of this counter-protest that just streamed out of the Burning Man headquarters?
Damage control?
Have you ever worked DPW?
That's what I make of it.
Okay, we've got two more people that streamed out of the Burning Man headquarters, and they've got a sign that says, "My protest is better than yours." Are you folks aware of the issues that these people are agitating for today?
No.
Not one bit.
Then why are you here?
We are protesting the protesters.
Well, supposing I told you that they had legitimate concerns about injuries, lowered pay, firing when they complain about the organization, are those things that you would be concerned about?
I don't know. What do you think?
I just heard there's going to be paper bags, and I thought I wanted to put one on too, and see what all the hubbub was all about.
Okay, I was just speaking with one of the counter-protesters, and there you have it.
Burning Man has a long history of firing workers that complain about their working conditions, pay cuts, and that are injured without compensation. People who have worked for them for 10 or 15 years. That's why there's an angry face on my bag, not a smiley, happy face. These are very real issues, and the people that make your beautiful city are constantly fucked over by the Burning Man organization.
Voltaire once said, I may disagree with you, but I will defend to my death your right to say it.
Can you tell me what? No, I mean, seriously.
Voltaire, though.
No. Why you're here?
I'm here to raise awareness about worker rights because my friends work for the DPW and they've had their pay cut in half. And I know I'm not going to work for this company anymore, so I can show my face and I can protest this.
Absolutely.
These are legitimate concerns.
That sounds legitimate to me.
Well, I mean, we've had, in 2001, a worker die. After that, they made a death waiver, which basically isn't legal. They say even if someone is killed on the job and it's Burning Man's fault, they won't sue or try to get any compensation. Burning Man often doesn't help workers injured, and if you die, they don't do anything unless they get sued. They're using guerrilla art as a smokescreen to commit illegal labor practices because they're a multi-million-dollar franchise corporation. That's why you're here, Matt, because you're a part of that franchise. So we just want to raise awareness for people like you. Don't do that to your workers or your volunteers. Take care of them.
Absolutely. That's definitely made me aware.
Yeah, good.
Checking the federal and OSHA regulations about the number of porta potties that are required, and have hand washing stations and hand sanitizers so your whole crew doesn't get dysentery, which is what happened last year at the event.